Today, guys, on this episode of the Spot Me Bro podcast, we're going to start by talking about announcements. Announcements this week. If you haven't heard from me already, we have a massive rad order or a massive rad development. Get it? Rad. Rally Against Destruction. It's just shoes.
That's
Anyway,
pretty bad.
I usually have a little bit of a discount to Rad just from a Rad Pro membership. However, they did send me a text message / email this week that said that my discount, number one, is going up in percentage, and number two, I can use it for my friends. I think they specifically said homies. Anyway, so the discount, don't look at me. That was their choice of words. I could pull it
I
up
didn't say
if you
anything.
want.
I didn't say anything.
Your face said a lot. All right. Discount goes up to 35%. So that would take the V2s, which are like the training shoes, so made for CrossFit, down to $105 per pair. And that would also take the R1s, which are kind of like their running / hybrid trainer shoe, down to 98. So the V2s are normally 150 and they would be 105. The R1s are normally 140 and they would be 98 with this discount. I just have to be the one to make the order, so I'm going to put in a big order this upcoming Friday for all of us that would like new shoes.
Is the R1s your UFO shoes?
No, the R1s are not the UFOs. I cannot get the discount on the UFOs.
I'm just trying not to say things that will get me canceled.
It's just unreal around here. Anyway,
they're special.
They're definitely ugly.
People.
They're ugly. I know that they're ugly. It's fine. I don't know that I necessarily care how they look if they work. That's kind of the difference that we're.
For all the crap that you give me about what I wear.
Okay, Mr.
Just saying. All I'm
below
saying
the knee
is,
basketball shorts and a long sleeve shirt. Did you get dressed in the morning yesterday or no? I mean, in the dark in the morning. Sorry, excuse me.
Well, technically, it's dark every morning.
That is
at 4 in the morning.
It's dark when I get home from work. It's dark when I go to work. It's dark all the time. I love winter. Anyway, could you please give us an update on the CHAD schedule? Keep this on track.
So by the time this is released, that'll be Sunday. CHAD will be 2 days away on Veterans Day, November 11th. So that's a Tuesday. Keep in mind that this is not going to be your normal class per se. There are going to be coaches on site during the class hours that we would typically have, but they're not going to be running like so-and-so classes. So they can help you if you need anything, like, figuring out how to get warmed up, all this stuff, but you're more or less doing this one on your own and figuring out what that works for your schedule, because it's going to be a bit of a longer one. Probably, plan for at least about an hour and a half, something like that, including warm up and the workout time. I think last time it took me like 98 minutes. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer one. And then coming up on Thanksgiving and Black Friday, schedule for that. On Thanksgiving, we only have the morning classes. So keep that in mind for those of you coming in the evening. Don't show up expecting there to be classes on Thanksgiving Day. The next day, Black Friday, that's going to be the 28th. There are no classes. Colin says watch the Bears, but that's Friday. I don't think is there a game on Black Friday?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's an island game. The Bears play the Eagles on Black Friday. Yeah, the Eagles is going to be a tough game. But it do be what it do be. Anyway, really quick, can we go back to CHAD? What's going on with X4?
X4 is going to be the same. No change in schedule, no change in classes. Classes are going to be the same during November 11th, which is a Tuesday. So show up, do your workout as normal. Yeah, nothing's changing for X4, just for CrossFit.
Yep. Alrighty, yeah. So kind of like a open gym-ish type thing on that CHAD day with a coach present, and then Thanksgiving we've got the 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and Black Friday we are closed. Simply simple. All right, that does it for announcements.
So getting into programming then, what's the cycle looking like this week?
So we are officially on our reload portion of our of our cycle. I'm trying not to call it a deload, right? Because every time I get in trouble for calling it a deload because just because the weightlifting is slightly on the lighter side, it doesn't always equate to that on the Metcon side,
Well,
which we're kind of going to go over here too.
I was gonna say after what we said, I think it was last week, we tend to have named workouts during quote unquote deload weeks, and we got 2 this week.
Crazy.
Like normally 1, but we got 2. So buckle up.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Yeah. So we've got bench press on Monday. We've got the power clean on Thursday. And then we've got our overhead squat or front squat on Friday. We've got Wednesday as a recovery day because, like we've kind of been mentioning already, by the time this comes out in 2 days, it'll be CHAD, which is that Tuesday. So Wednesday will be a recovery day. And then Saturday, we've got our long cardio slash dumbbell loading in a partner style. So we're going to see like a big buy-in of cals on the bike. And then we'll kind of dive into a double under and a goblet, or excuse me, double under, dumbbell snatch, and goblet lunge, I believe, AMRAP, between you and a partner. And then Sunday will be a midline focus and bodyweight gymnastics. Mainly are like off days, as in like days that don't require the cycle today, are going to be pretty upper body heavy because we've got, as we've said, 2 benchmark workouts, both of which have a lot to do with your lower body. So we'll be focusing on our lower body on Tuesday with CHAD, and then we'll also be focusing on our lower body on that overhead squat, front squat day, because that Friday we will also have Nancy. So the goal of today's podcast is to go through those 2 workouts, both CHAD and Nancy. So let's start with CHAD.
Yeah, just taking it one step at a time. You had talked about that a little bit last week, and you said it's kind of a named workout and what we would call a hero workout, right? Uh, about Chad Wilkinson, a soldier who had taken his own life, and now that's not something that we really celebrate. So, what's the story behind that?
Yeah, so
Or what's really like the point of hero workouts? Or I would say like, what's you know, why would we be doing a workout about somebody who killed themselves?
yeah, so the ones the all of the hero workouts are named after somebody who has died either in the line of duty or is was a veteran of some sort. So like a lot of the ones that that we see in the normal programming, like if we see a hero workout in normal programming, it's most likely somebody who died in the line of duty or doing what they were obviously commissioned to do, whether it be active duty military or a first responder or frontline police officer, firefighter, anything like that. Typically, and obviously, like the goal of their hero workout is to remember them as they were, whether it be that they were a CrossFitter and this is something that they like to do, or trying to incorporate like the day of the year or some way to honor them in that way. Now, the bigger ones, I don't know necessarily that like they're actually bigger, but the ones that we like stop all of our programming for, basically, like so say Murph and now CHAD, have a little bit more. Um, I don't want to say like significance to them. They're all very significant, but they are they've been put on these days for specific reasons. So
Right. I think more to highlight certain causes.
yes,
Right.
more to highlight certain causes. There you go. So
Like so, for example, in the case of Chad, we got the Step Up Foundation. We maybe talk a little bit about that either now or down the road. Or,
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, this is the whole thing. So the story behind CHAD was that Chad Wilkinson served 21 years of active duty and had multiple deployments overseas. He unfortunately took his own life after suffering some blast wave injuries, some traumatic brain injuries, and PTSD. Um, the reason that we do this workout is because this workout was apparently something that he liked to do to prepare for his climbing trips, which he had said would help him with his mental clarity. So not only is it Veterans Day, so obviously remembering all veterans in that way and thanking them for their service, but also now providing some sort of support for everything that they go through, right? Not only obviously the people in active duty are can be struggling with injuries or anything like that, but also the people who are now veterans could be struggling with things such as PTSD or any sort of mental health issue. So the big thing behind CHAD is the Step Up Foundation, which has a mantra of one step at a time, hence 1,000 step ups, right? The Step Up Foundation supports vets and active service members with mental health initiatives. So it will help them get help from therapy or any sort of mental health issue that they feel like they would need. You can donate at the stepupfoundation.com, or you can even go to Rogue Fitness and go through their Step Up Foundation link as well to donate to that cause. But yeah, so that's why we do CHAD. It is, I want to say it's also Veterans Mental Health Awareness Month, or not necessarily veterans, but Mental Health Awareness Month.
It is on Veterans Day. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's
I'm saying, yeah, I can't remember if November is Mental Health Awareness Month or not, but coming up close to Veterans Day, we want to remember all of those who have served and given us this freedom here in America. So we honor CHAD by completing CHAD on Veterans Day.
Now, that being said, a lot of hero workouts tend to be programmed in the extreme, right? So you think 1,000 step ups, typically 1,000 reps of anything is going to be a very long, extensive workout that may not be the best choice or may not be something what we would call maybe like smart programming, right?
Yeah.
So, there is an inherent like, I don't know if
Risk.
you want to say like risk or danger there, but like it comes down to taking a little bit of personal responsibility too in your training and making sure that we've earned the right to do something, right? Whether it's loading up a heavy barbell that we've earned the right to get there first, or that in something like this case that we've earned the right to get there. So if we want to go over the actual workout and like how we would approach that, it's 1,000 step ups, but with I think is it 40, 35?
Yeah, the RX is a 45-pound vest for men, or a 45-pound ruck, for men, and
yeah,
a 35-pound ruck for ladies. But I mean, more to Nolan's point, that's also why our extra credit has been what it's been for the last month. So
right. So if you haven't been keeping up with that, or you haven't been working your way up to it, then it might be a smart idea to maybe bring down the maybe. But like what I would do first is bring down the weight.
yeah,
Like
take the weight off.
if you're gonna do it, or if you've never done it before, don't do it with weight. Just do it body weight. Start there, and then as needed, then we would talk about bringing down the reps, because it's
or putting a time cap on it.
Right, putting time cap on it. It's something where it's you'll get a lot of heated debate at times with some people that will say, no, the hero workout, it means this, you need to do this exactly, and you need to do this, otherwise you're disrespecting, dishonoring. No, just you doing the workout is honoring them, but you have to be smart and be able to, walk the next day, right? You need to be able to be safe, right? You don't want it to be something detrimental to you, right? Uh,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
just being smart, about it.
Personally, I've cramped up on this workout.
Yeah,
at least twice. So
this workout has messed me up in a way that I think only Fran has. Um, like I did it and I was not good mentally for the rest of the day. So
or weak for that
I
matter.
should have done it without the weight the first time. So just putting that out there.
It's okay. Yeah. We live and we learn, and that's why we're here on this podcast.
And that being said too, like, I had it in a coached class heat. So that happened to me. At the same time, you're going to be in doing this more on your own style. So you may look quote unquote fine while you're doing it, and the coach may be like, okay, yeah, their form is looking fine, you know, let you loose. But also that comes into like your personal accountability to yourself and making sure you make smart choices while you're doing things like this.
Yep. Yep. So I think we've gone over the major points of the story behind it and how we feel about it. How would you tackle this one, Coach?
One step at a time.
Crazy. Do you have any specific, anything specific in there about how you would tackle it?
I mean, it's such a long one. It's you got to stay in the game mentally. You got to find
100%.
ways to distract yourself, but also keep counting your reps.
Yep.
You have to find a rhythm. You
Mhm.
can't be going really fast and going really slow and then going all over the place. You have to kind of find a way to lock in that rhythm and keep a consistent pace so that you can keep going. Uh, it's just so long.
Well, I mean, like, I guess what I was going for by like a specific strategy is like my personal strategy on this one is I never count past 25.
Okay.
I keep
Yeah.
I keep a whiteboard close to me,
That's
obviously, and I have all the like tick marks beforehand that would mean that I have like each tick mark represents 25, so 4 would be 100, and then 4 times 10 to be 40 tick marks, and then every time I hit 25, I get off the box, I count a tick mark, I shake the legs out a little bit, and then I go again for another 25. And that one's kind of kept me on track for the majority of this workout. I found that like 2 years ago that that's what worked well for me. So this will be now the third time I think that I'll do it with that 25 strategy. Um, when you did it, how did you tackle it?
well, yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at as far as like finding a way to keep track of your reps because counting to 1,000 is gonna suck. Um, I had one of those clickers. Each
Yeah.
time you take a rep, you do a click, and that worked. Helped me, so I didn't have to. But it probably actually would have been smarter to do. You do actually get like shaking out the legs, get a slight break every once in a while. That's I do like that.
Yeah.
A little
I
bit
mean,
more of the old school with the whiteboard.
yeah, I mean, we used to have the baseball pitch counter clicker things or whatever, but it's just like Nolan was saying, it's just a mental grind. So like
Yeah.
finding ways to mitigate that mental grind is going to be one of the easiest ways to get through this workout. Obviously, like the mental grind is also the point of the workout. So like sitting in that suffering is kind of the entire point of doing 1,000 step ups for time. But the goal here is you still need to find some sort of rhythm. That's why I kind of like mentioned how I do it. Is my rhythm is I count to 25, I step off the box, I undo a tick mark or I erase a tick mark, and then I kind of shake my legs out a little bit, pat them a couple times, and then try to get back on the box. And that kind of obviously also like hinders my speed because I think that I'm probably somebody who could come out pretty hot on this one in that I have a decent amount of fitness, so I could probably come out and do 100 step ups unbroken right from the beginning. But is that really what's gonna like? Am I gonna cramp up at 600 then because I went way too fast through the first 100? So I try to find my rhythm early and I try to stick to that rhythm. Have a plan, stick to it is my goal.
Yeah, and like you said, with that mental grind, that being kind of the crux of the workout, it's very other than Murph, it's very not very often we go this long in a
Mm-hmm.
workout. So it is good to get touches on something like that, something that long, being able to express that and have that capacity to go there. So it is good to challenge yourself in that way. It also depends on what you can feasibly do on a Tuesday when you got to go to work after.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Also that.
so a few things to keep in mind.
Stay realistic.
Right.
Is the majority of our discussion here. Good?
Yep.
All right.
Moving on to Nancy.
Moving on. Nancy, the second named workout of the week, of reload week, is on Friday. So it kind of coincides with our overhead squat or front squat cycle. And on top of that, if you are doing overhead squats, then you will continue to do overhead squats in Nancy. If you are not doing overhead squats and doing front squats, then you will do front squats in Nancy. It remains the same. There is still 15 squats every round. Nancy is, so that we know 5 rounds for time, a 400-meter run, and 15 overhead squats. RX weights are 95 for guys, 65 for ladies. Now,
So, do I get to deliver the good news?
sure, go ahead, please, if you would.
We're not going to run.
Next week's supposed to be like 35 degrees as a high, so we're changing it to Nancy-ish in that we're basically cutting out the run in general, and we're going straight for a 500-meter row for guys, a 400-meter row for ladies, kind of taking that option out there for you. Now, if you're coming in and do it on your own, by all means, you can use the runner. That's totally fine. But we only have one runner up in the front, and we don't want any barbells in the back. So only one at a time if we're going to run for Nancy next week. But in general, Nancy should be a 10 to 15 minute time domain. We'll probably cap it at 15. We are looking for a quick 2 minutes or less on that 500, 400 meter row. And then that weight, obviously RX, like I said, 95, 65, that weight should be something that's light enough that we could go unbroken for at least the first 2 rounds, okay? Unbroken for 15 reps for at least the first 2 rounds, if not all of the rounds, okay? Now, I've done this one a couple of times. I don't know if Nolan has done this one. He's probably looking it up right now.
Say like 2 times.
Okay.
Maybe 3.
And let's start with you. How would you go about tackling this workout? Because I feel like our strategies are going to be different here.
5 rounds for time. I would try to pace myself on the first run, knowing what I know about it now.
You mean you came out too hot the first time? What do you mean?
Probably a few times. Also, since the first time doing it, my capacity has changed. So that being said, I would try still attacking this one and I'd try to make it a good, decent pace off the bat. But at the same time, I'd try to stay more unbroken on those overhead squats than I've been able to do in the past. But then again, I get into those later rounds, just try to make smart sets out of it, like a 8-7, something like that, so that you can break it up. But this is actually, this is one of the only workouts I think the only workout to actually give me what they call an exertion headache.
Oh yeah, you did talk about that.
And what basically happened in my case was, if you feel in the back of your neck, you feel your spine down the middle. There are going to be 2 muscles on either side of it, right? So those muscles got so tight on those overhead squats, they're pulling down and putting all this pressure on my skull, So I was getting this nasty headache from it. And they had to take a lacrosse ball, sort of like rub it in. You don't want to take a freaking massage gun to it. That'll chip your spine, you get paralyzed.
Hold on.
Let's not do that. Well, you don't want to freaking take that to your spine, but you want to like massage out the neck.
Yes.
With like soft. But anywho, that was not fun. So kind of along the same lines of what I was saying with Chad, you do want to approach this one smartly and kind of earn your way to that weight. Like Colin said, this is meant to be a lighter weight. So if 95, 65 is not a light weight for you, don't do it. Like, bring down that weight and be responsible. And hopefully you'll have some coaches that will, point that out to you, like we are now.
It's also Friday,
that
so
I didn't
8 a.m., 8 a.m., 4:30, and 5:30 p.m. will all have me, and then I believe Jesse is in the morning on Friday.
So you'll
be set. You'll be
you're
good. You'll be in good hands.
So yeah, but again, take personal responsibility. Don't go heavier than you should when you're trying to go fast on overhead squats, right? Like, you're trying to go fast, but you want to make sure that you have that good form. You're not all tight and tense, and you're trying to like do like a 1 rep max 15 times for 5 rounds. It's a little too much, right? So I mean, light is going to be relative to not only to every person, but to every movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 95 may be very heavy for an overhead squat, but very light for a front squat for you. Like you got to know where you're at with each movement and figure out what's going to be the right choice for you.
Yeah. I would still prefer, though, if you're overhead squatting for the strength, that you overhead squat in the workout, even if it's not 95. Even if you don't think
Right.
that you can do 15 reps even if you don't think you can do 15 reps unbroken at 95, then I want you to obviously go down in the scaled weight, but I would like you to still perform overhead squats, because if you're doing overhead squats in the strength, then I've obviously given you the okay enough that your form is good enough that we can manage this. So at the very least, you're still performing whatever movement that you've already been performing for the day. If it's front squats, then you're sticking with front squats. If it's overhead squats, then you're sticking with overhead squats. Either of those are fine. They are still going to blow up your legs one way or another, which we'll kind of get into a little bit more here. But even if we're only overhead squatting 65 for the strength, and then obviously Nancy has a RX weight of 95-65, then maybe we go down to an empty barbell or even a PVC pipe, and we work on that overhead squat mechanics, because we're going to see another 75 reps of overhead squat in that workout, 5 rounds of 15. So it's good to get some touches on that and still maintain obviously like good form and technique there, while getting a little bit out of breath. It's kind of an old-fashioned way of saying it, but if I can do it perfectly while I'm out of breath, I can definitely do it well when I'm not out of breath.
In like a scientific environment where everything's perfect.
Exactly. So,
and that's kind of the point of the gym.
Right? Yep, 100%.
Right here, this is where conditions are supposed to be optimal.
Right? Yes.
So if we can do it out in here, we should be able to apply our fitness outside in real life where things are going to be anything but optimal. So, let's prepare for that.
Yeah. Okay. In more direct news, or in more direct like ways to go about this. So the actual crux of this workout, if you're really looking at it as trying to go unbroken as possible on the squats, the actual crux then becomes the row/run.
Yeah, if you go unbroken on the squats, I mean, you could squat faster if you're squatting slow, but you're not going to get much faster on the squats. The only place to get faster is to suffer on the run or row.
Exactly. So like what I'm trying to get at is, even though like the weights are obviously going to be where most will get held up, like whether that be the overhead squat or the front squat, because it should be that like light-ish weight, but it's still like kind of a technical movement in the fact that it should be an overhead squat. That's obviously where we'll see most people like struggle or be unable to go unbroken. Like had Nolan said that he probably wouldn't go unbroken if it were him. Whereas for myself, 95 pounds is a weight that I will go unbroken on 15 no matter what happens. So for me then, and for those of us who are going to go at a weight that's light enough that we can complete 3, maybe 4, even 5 rounds unbroken, which is fine. That is the point of the workout. The crux of this workout then actually becomes how fast or how hard we can push that run or row. So like you have to be willing to get into a dark place kind of on that run or row if you want like a really like good competitive time on Nancy. Like if we're looking at this from a competitive standpoint, and we're like
just improving your score.
Yes, or just improving your score.
Being competitive with yourself from that side.
100%. But if we're looking at this from like a competitive standpoint, as Nolan said, you can only squat so fast unless you lose inches on your height in between now and the last time that you did this workout, which obviously is impossible. You're only going to squat so fast. You could go faster, obviously, if we're absolutely sprinting compared to the last time, but you're really probably only going to go so fast on the squats. So it comes down to how fast we can really push that run or row. But once again, this all is if the squats are unbroken. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of trying to take this to the next level. Like those of us who do this workout and feel like 95 as an RX weight is light, whether it be an overhead squat or a front squat, then the row or the run, the cardio portion, is where you're going to make up your time. Like a really, really competitive time on Nancy is something around the 8 or 9 minute mark, as opposed to like what we're looking for in the 10 to 15 minute mark, right? And so like that would be running like 120 or less, 400s, or obviously like the row I think is going to slow us down just a little bit in general if we're going to row, because holding a 130-500 is pretty difficult just in general.
Yeah.
So
we are dealing with actual humans here, Colin.
yes, exactly.
Not machines.
That's what I'm saying. So, but it does come down to the row. But so I think that's the actual crux of the workout.
Yeah. No, you're right. And now that I'm thinking about it, like 15 is a really aggressive time cap, at least for me. Like,
yeah, I mean that's 3 minutes
that's
around.
3 minutes around. So you got 2 minutes to row, 1 minute to get in all your overhead squats. So it's like no misses.
Yeah, definitely no misses.
So yeah, I thought we had the 20-minute time cap on that one.
I don't think that we do, but
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I left it at 15, but it might be adjusted by the time you see it on Friday.
One can pray. Or hope.
How do you feel?
Oh, I'm good.
Good?
I'm always good.
I think we're good.